Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Pod with Manas. So in this episode we have Mr. Arnab Kumar Datta with us. He is a friend from college. We have taken our bachelor's degree together. After that he has chosen his career path as business administration and management. He has completed his MBA from Mysore University. Right now he is working as a business development professional in a well-known magazine. So in this episode we have also discussed about topics related to startup ecosystem in India. We have discussed about importance of business management. We have discussed about seed funding. We have talked about topics related to how social media is influencing one's career choices and many more other topics. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Arnab, not the Arnab from Republic, as you can guess. Please like, share and subscribe to this episode and the channel if you like the content. Thank you and enjoy the podcast. Hi Arnav, thank you for joining the Geeky Pod with Manas. So today we're going to discuss about your experiences, your personal experiences and stories or anecdotes from your life and maybe some insights that you want to put forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Manas, a lot for inviting me to this channel. You're doing this, and I really like that, you're taking this forward in the right direction. So great thanks from my end to you for basically doing something into the content space where I don't know a lot of people who are doing this in our friend circle. Yeah, that's
Thanks,
great. So, I'm really happy to share my insights here, and it's really great that just by going through these videos, maybe some people who are in dire need of help, if they want to get a clarity, they might get, and I'll be happy to contribute to it. So, looking forward to this right now, Manash.
Thank you. So tell me what you are up to nowadays, like in career-wise, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So, see, Manas, as we all departed after 2015, we finished our BTech CS. You are my batchmate, and I do remember
Correct.
you. And all our batchmates who have also, I've seen some videos also before. So I could see that there's a good number of participation, and I hope that more people participate in this.
Right.
So, if I go into the terms where I talk about how my journey was, you see, after I passed out from college, I had taken different career paths to choose for. Okay, I went for MTech, I went for gate preparation. I did 1 year of gate preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, I realized this is not the thing for me. So I came here in Bangalore in 2016. And from then, I had worked mostly, that time, I had, started my own startup with a few friends of mine.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah,
I didn't know this
so
actually. Yeah.
yeah, it's hidden. It's not like something I mentioned to everyone. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so it is something in the year of 2016. You see, that time. I hope you remember Paytm, this payment application company, is growing so much, and I
Correct.
could say, when I was going to those dosa shops to have some
Mm-hmm.
sambar or anything, I'm seeing that there's some guys in plain clothes who are coming and onboarding, the kind of shops, if they're in a line in BDM, every shop is getting onboarded. And I
Mm-hmm.
just used to see how people fall so, what should I say this in, how should I, articulate this? I would say that, I was surprised and I was sort of shocked to see, how people have, been convinced,
Mm-hmm.
after demonetization. I do remember demonetization in 2016, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That time, all, the notes which were not bound to be illegal, they were banned. And just 2 3 days in Bangalore itself, it was a huge mess because, there was no planning and things like that. But again, coming forward into the corporate perspective of things, if I
Mm-hmm.
talk about how things are. So I would say that at this time, if I talk about those areas, Paytm, developed the business very easily, and it was if I talk about the rate of growth, it was exponential. They took the curve, the uh, high curve where you see where they have reached the ultimate potential as a company. So if you see like the kind of fundings they're getting, the kind of things they're doing right now, and even if you see all of these companies these days, if I'm talking about tech, see, I know that you're from tech, so like not ask you any questions into this, but I will say just one thing on a product perspective.
Right.
So if I talk about most, startup companies, like if you take Secret, it is entirely into fintech, right?
Right.
So we have liquid loans, we have Propelled, we have companies like Zest Money, for example, where you can take microfinance loans. You have AutoPay, like if I talk about the kind of things they're doing. So when I see all the different segments in which the Indian startups segment is growing, I feel like I should be also be pursuing my MBA, and I joined
Okay.
MBA from University of Mysore. So it was just very simple for me. I'm not here to just get a fancy degree. I'm here to learn something. So you see, like at the end of the day, I did participate in events. I started knowing how to sell first of all. Then the first thing I sold was a gulab jamun basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So from that, I got to understand how to do the business part at the end of the day. So I have after 2 years, I had been entirely into the e-learning segment, and currently I'm working for the CEO magazine. So this is basically a C-level executive viewership magazine where you'll be finding interviews of C-level executives, people who are like CEOs, managing directors, vice presidents. So like my job is to connect with these people, take their interview, do them in terms of marketing, communications, and take it forward for the
Right.
editorial process. So right now I'm working entirely into media. But yeah,
Okay.
it started entirely from running my own company, which was also a internet-based startup where we had given people a lot of newbies were coming. So like just passed out college, they needed a job. So we hired around like 3, 4 of these kind of developers,
Okay.
and we developed websites basically. So I was in the business part. I was
Oh.
booking them, I was going there with a few of my other executives with whom I have started this company. So it did not run well because there was no that much of substantial amount of revenue that was generated. So I had to move forward, and I decided, you see, like let's be in the corporate for a few years. Let's see how things work out, how things run. Then maybe, yeah, I will think of doing my own business. So that's me.
Okay. 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 So you mentioned that out of your curiosity to learn about business and master, you went for MBA in Mysore University. So
Yeah.
other than that, any other particular reason that you thought like, okay, no, I should not pursue technical domain and go into programming section, and maybe I should
Mhm.
go more into business, which may help me in long term for pursuing my passion for startups or anything like that.
Yeah. So that's a very good question. First of all, Manash, thank you for asking this. If I, get into the point where, I talk about why I chose this instead of
Mm-hmm.
going for the tech side of things.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I had passed out, from college, so if I talk about this, like if I talk about like how I got into this, see, after I completed my graduation, I did the course of computer science and engineering. So yeah, if I talk about how I got into this, like you see, like at the end of the day, uh, as I told you before, like I had been fascinated by the growth of companies like
Mm-hmm.
Paytm, then all these fintech companies and they say e-learning companies at that point of time. I wanted to, you see, know in understanding, like if I'm talking about MBA or Master of Business Management and Administration, what you are actually getting into. So first of all, there are a few branches in MBA. A person can, if anyone is trying to pursue this, okay, he should understand that this is something. If you're coming from an entirely science background, or coming from IT,
Mm-hmm.
then if you're going into finance or things like that, it would be a hard nut to crack
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, the kind of people you'll be finding in colleges where, like for example, if you are a graduate fresh out of like the finance stream and
Mm-hmm.
you have not done it from a very good college, it will be
Hmm.
difficult for you to get a job first of all, because
Okay.
there is that much of openings if I'm talking of finance. But again, like if you're coming from, like very good colleges, IIMs, or colleges like this, or even if I talk about colleges from Australia or UK, or all those colleges which are AACSB certified. AACSB is a accreditation that a lot of these colleges, have when it is coming to
Okay.
the standards of a college. This is how we do it. So at the end of the day, finance is, I believe, like this is something you should choose if you really have passion for it. Otherwise, you can go into marketing and sales. There's one stream which is entirely going into HR, human resources and management. So normally, what do you think when you see an HR in any company that they don't have any work other than playing randoms, things like this, right? But this is
Yeah,
not the case.
that's
It
the
is
general
if you
opinion.
yeah, if I talk about the kind of work they're doing, you see, you have to be very polished as a person to first of all do a job like this when it is coming to human interaction and communication. So it is not something where a person who does not possesses this would be able to run a company where this is the guy who is the go-to guy or the go-to girl for people whenever they're having any problems regarding payroll, regarding separation, regarding termination, or if there is any kind of mishap which has happened in the organization. And HR is responsible for all of this. So HR, I also saw this, but I went into sales and marketing entirely because like here I understood in depth like what is marketing, what is market segmentation, how to understand even before placing the product into the particular segment, what is the demographics, what kind of clients you'll be finding there. Okay, then how to take the approach where you explain those things to those people, your clients, and at the end of the day you are able to generate revenue from this, right? Because
Correct.
see, like at the end of the day, whatever decision is taken by a top level management of a company, if I talk about the topmost hierarchy, they always believe in getting the highest amount of revenue at the end of the day. So if I talk about revenue generation, it does not happens in a day. You see, like Rome was not built in a day. We all know this.
Right.
This is a case as well. So you have to understand these things very deeply if you get into things like this. Because if I talk about marketing itself, it is something where mostly it's also about convincing your communication skills, the way you convince people, the way you articulate your points. Then you see, it's also about understanding the kind of populace around you. It's not just about saying a script and getting your things done. You have to use your brain for this. So, like, see, if I talk about marketing or things like this, if you see any kind of company, any digital company or any tech company, they are mostly doing digital marketing right now. So it's a huge, it was trending like 3, 4 years back. Everyone did this. If I talk about the current scenario, it's more about, the skills, not the certification. Because if I talk
Correct.
about the Indian tech space, see, like at the end of the day, by 2019 to 2023, I could say that a lot of people are thinking, and a lot have also shifted from being a software development engineer to a data scientist
Right.
or
Right.
a business analyst. Some people are also going into product management, where I have personally helped a lot of people like this who are from an IT background to transition as a product manager.
Hmm.
So since I was working into e-learning after my MBA, I have sold, programs. I have sold courses. If I talk about just, it's not just about selling it. It's also about, building the reputation, building the trust, building the, the relationship between your clients, and getting things in return, which otherwise it's very difficult to convince when it is coming to the Indian populace. Because
Correct.
if I talk about any product, any digital product, if go to any kind of non-metro cities, like I'm not talking about Delhi, Bombay, or Bangalore, or Kolkata, or cities
Chennai.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking about, like if you're staying in Jharkhand, if you are staying in Madhya Pradesh, if you're staying in Bhopal, like it's the same place
Example. Okay.
in Jaipur, for example. or quota, for example. Quota is again well connected. But if I talk about the interviews, okay.
Let's say Northeast, you can take Northeast, our Northeast area.
Yeah. Northeast also. Like if you take Northeast as well. So
Yeah.
technology helps, like a lot of people during COVID-19 when this happened. And e-learning, the whole thing took a massive boom when it came to
Correct.
revenue because
Yes.
people had a need for this, right? But before that, I'm talking before that. See, even if I talk about the kind of transitions people are doing right now, see, at the end of the day, what I believe is that, like, if I talk about getting to that curve of your career path where you, at the end of the day, end up becoming a VP or an MD, because that's the ultimate goal. Because you see, if you're joining corporate, there are two types of people. Some people want growth, and some people are okay with what they're doing, and it's completely fine. But
Correct.
when it is to the point, if anyone is thinking of growing, like handling a lot of things, like getting all the benefits from the company, taking the repertoire to that level. So I think for this, like you have to be very passionate about the things you're doing. So yeah, I think I've said a lot of things. Yeah, but see the
No, right.
main
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, the main bullet pointer that I would like to like highlight into this is that, like, follow your dream, follow your mind. Don't listen to what others are saying.
Correct. So because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, it's your career, it's your life,
yeah.
how you take it forward.
Not just a motivational quote. It is really practical.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Totally, I totally get it. So now you mentioned multiple times that you were associated with e-learning after you completed your MBA. So how was the experience for you in e-learning
Yeah.
domain?
So see, yeah. So I started, like 3 years back into this. So, like, if I talk about e-learning, I would say that this is something where most of the populace in the workforce is full of BTech students.
Mhm. Like who are
Yeah.
getting educated or who are giving education?
No, ones who are basically working into the business development part. Because
Uh-huh.
if you talk about any e-learning company, see,
Hmm.
at the end of the day, if I talk about the traditional learning methods that we Indians are using, mostly people go to private tuitions. Some people go to home tutors. Okay, some people are homeschooled, and some
Hmm.
people are studying in schools like Narayan,
Hmm.
right? So when it is coming to schools like this, see, like at the end of the day, this is something where kid wakes up at like 4 a.m. in the morning and
Hmm.
is still there in school, and he's coming back at like 10 in the evening. Sorry, 10 at
Hmm.
night. So this is something where you see at the end of the day, like I feel that there's too much pressure, right? But it is still accessible. When it comes to making a thing very popular, for example, if you are, like selling a product where you are promising the clients that this will help your child to, like accelerate his studies and, get to the right side of things at the end of the day, right? This needs hell amount of convincing, but on the same time, it's also about the way you build your rapport, the customer relationship, and also at the same time how you make the people understand what is the need of it, right?
Hmm.
Because no need of like paying this much money. Because if you take any e-learning company, I'll not name the companies. If you take the course pricing, for
Hmm.
example, if I talk about the K10, K12 courses, for
Hmm.
example, courses which are catering to the students of class 1 to class 12 for boards, JE, NEET, and other kind of competitive examinations. Take this apart. There is also the banking segment, right? We have higher, see, like the railway board exams. Then you have IAS preparation. UPSC is also there. See, at the end of the day, like this is a particular segment where your clients are not that niche.
Hmm.
These are people, like either children, yeah, in the K10, K12 segment, which means, like from class 1 to class 12, which I'm talking about.
Understood.
Here, mostly, if I talk about the clients itself, they are not that much niche, they're not that much technically educated when they make the decision of buying this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I talk about all this tablet-based learning applications, or if I talk about the online classes as well, that many institutions are giving right now. If I talk about the e-learning segment, it's entirely a boom where, like technically also, like if I talk about the product itself, okay, it's one of those products which have actually, like taken the Netflix approach of doing things.
Hmm. Okay.
I talk, like UI UX, or if I talk about user experience and user interface. Okay. If I talk
Right.
about the whole functionalities, the integrations, the API integrations, and things like that. When it is coming to organization, the whole company taking note of the profits, the losses. Because see, if I talk about like all these organizations, every organization is bound by Salesforce.
Correct.
People are using Salesforce. There are companies like Lead Squared also, but doing a commendable job when it is coming to the CRM segment. Like where this is entirely from the software as a service segment, SaaS, entirely SaaS. Now, there are a lot of AI-based companies as well in this domain. So,
Right.
if we talk about doing business as an Indian company, doing all these things, there are major challenges. First of all, you have to make the less technically literate people understand about basic things like how to set up this Zoom call, right? How to use a video call chain in a phone. And you have to basically, make a guy who has never used a phone other than a Nokia 1100 about Android and smartphone, first of all, in a 15-minute conversation. So this requires a lot of rapport building, a lot of understanding of your user base.
Correct.
So this is the first part. If I talk about the professional segment, where I'm talking about people who are working into tech, both IT as well as non-IT roles, as process associates, senior associates, they're also doing a lot of upskilling programs these days, where you can take a career leap from being a normal SDE to a data scientist or a product manager, and your salary will also double. If I talk about the kind of salary package these guys are drawing at the end of the day, when you're taking salary. See, it is very easy for people into IT, for guys like you, when you're going into product roles, or other kind of roles, because you have that understanding of how to run this whole thing, first of all, how to run the codes, where the bugs will be, what are the major challenges. So yeah, it's also about like things like this. So it's entirely tech. If I talk about interface, the technicalities, the integration. If I talk about the customer satisfaction, that's a bit of a challenge to do.
Okay, so mostly you were associated with startups, and you also started your own startup at some point of time. So, what do you think is the future of startups in India? Like where it is going? Because you were last year, 2020 and 2021, we saw a lot of unicorns coming up, and a lot of startups are also getting shut down. So, what is the future, do you think, as per your point of view, for startups in India?
See, if I talk about startups, you see the difference between a startup in India and an MNC in India is that in an MNC, we're finding a lot of people to do multiple amount of processes. Over the work process. Like if I talk about the teams itself, so many people doing different things, right? Not one coder is there who is doing the entire coding. There are people who are doing the testing, the people who are running the bugs and things like that. So when it comes to startups, see, at the end of the day, I would believe that what I feel also, that at this point of time, it is a very, booming market. If I'm talking about the Indian space, because right now a lot of companies and a lot of founders have shown us like how to do the business part, right? Like if I talk about people who have came up with this whole Shark Tank show as well, right? Yeah, so you had seen how people are pitching their whole business, right? This is the setup of a TV show where people pitch their business, trying to get some funding at the end of the day, so that that they can grow their operations. So if I talk about the startup space, definitely there's a huge amount of potential. There's a very young workforce which is very smart right now. Because if I talk about the people who are passing out by 2022 to onwards, as we see, they will be very faster than us when it is coming to understanding technology, doing things the right way, how to optimize your efficiency at the end of the day. These things very matter a lot. So I believe that if I talk about the Indian startup space, definitely there is a future if they regulate the way of doing things. Because if I talk about a startup, it's like one guy is doing everything. It's not just one job role that you are, accustomed to, just like in other companies. Here, what happens, even if you're getting a work for a designated role, sometimes you have to step up the ball game and get things done for other teams as well.
Correct.
You have to take the responsibility also. You have to be a team player in this. You'll be learning a lot about how to work in a fast-paced environment where it is very crucial that you are doing your KPI, you are reaching your targets. I'm not just talking about the business part, I'm also talking about development wise, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
for any software developer or any guy who is developing a product for the company itself. For example, if I talk about Zomato, just imagine. See,
Hmm.
this whole thing was done by Dabbawalas before,
Correct.
delivery food, or by restaurants. They took the whole ownership of these things. They made a whole application in which you can order anything you like. And you see, if I talk about the guy who has done this when he was working as a product manager or a senior developer, he has thought about a lot of things. It's not that this guy has just done the coding part. He has talked to numerous amount of clients as well.
Hmm.
He has sales for the company. He has understood like what is the customer requirement. He has changed the product day in day out.
Hmm.
Then only he was able to build the product to that finish and that perfection. After which you can see how much they are drawing revenue. But yeah, we do know that this last few quarters they were not doing that great for Zomato and
Correct.
Swiggy. But
Yeah.
again, like if I talk about the establishment, the brand value, the goodwill they have created, this is like next level. Right?
Hmm.
Talk about things like this. If I talk about Urban Clap also, or Urban
Hmm.
Leader,
Hmm.
or if we talk about all these prop tech companies, right?
Hmm.
So my first company was a prop tech company. I just worked there for a few months itself, but I got drawn into e-learning because this was something which was entirely into technology. Again,
Hmm.
if I talk about the real estate business of things, it's mostly about the property, the product that is physical, that is tangible. It's not something you can't touch. That is software, that is IT. So if I talk about the cloud-based service companies, if I talk about the SaaS-based companies, if I talk about the kind of companies you see in the market which are giving payment solutions, giving medical solutions like NetMeds is there.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
have Tata 1mg coming up into this whole thing of like doing the FMCG way the right way. If you talk about companies like Zapto, which
Hmm.
are giving competition to companies like Dunzo, which first of all, if I talk about this company, I've seen how they have grown. I know a lot of people who are working there as well.
Okay.
So this is entirely a product-based company which has gone into the logistic side of things.
Hmm.
So it's entirely, if you see all the startups in India right now, every startup is solving one particular problem. That problem might
Hmm.
be anything, but this is actually going to be something which is going to be connected to your daily lives.
Hmm.
Right. Like for
Totally.
example, if I talk about Clear Tax, this is a company which does they
Income
make
tax
a
filing.
yeah. Entirely for the CAs, right? Their whole
Correct.
clients are CAs or people who are into the investor relations department of a company, for example. They are
Correct.
onboarding the whole thing so that they make things smooth.
Hmm.
So, see, if I talk about every startup which is there in India, everyone is catering to that problem set and coming with a solution. But on the same time, some companies are doing it ethically, some are not doing it ethically. But
Hmm.
that's how it's work.
Correct.
So take any big company, just take any big company, you'll find stains there as well. So, see, at the end of the day, this is how business works. But yeah, definitely, if I talk about a sustainable business, a business that runs for the longer run, it is something where they have done things right from the very starting point.
Hmm.
See, if I talk about company like Tata or
Hmm.
McLaren or Ferrari, all these
Hmm.
automobile companies,
Hmm.
if I talk about all these companies which are into the tech side, like Salesforce, if I talk about Zoho as well, these are all
Hmm.
in the CRM segment. If I talk about like Google, for example,
Hmm.
all that product. If you talk about Microsoft, every one of these companies have ensured that the customer experience,
Correct.
the concerns of the clients are never ignored.
Hmm.
They are doing this correctly. That's the reason they're still there and they're going to be there for 100 years to come.
Correct.
So
Totally.
that's the attitude which I feel a lot of companies lack, because at the end of the day, it's all about getting the 1,000 million benchmark. Okay, pass 2,200 billion, get a valuation of 1 billion at the end of the day, right? Because if I talk about any company which is having a valuation less than 30 billions or
Hmm.
30 million also, I'm not
Hmm.
talking about billions, or it is millions as meaning. If I talk about a company which is less than 30 million, it is still growing. It is not ready for the big markets. When I'm talking about a company which is around 100 million, these companies are looking to expand into other markets like APAC, Asia Pacific. It's a very big market. If I talk about the semiconductor industry, if I talk about the oil and gas industry there, if I talk about the EMEA region, Europe, Middle East region, see, Middle East, you know that a lot of companies are getting outsourced there as well. So we are doing a lot of things as Indian companies for those companies when it is coming to the software solutions. So traditionally, it has been MNCs like TCS, Cognizant, and Wipro, which have started the trend of going into building softwares for big organizations and governments. But if I'm talking about the startup segment, they have entirely focused on building a product which also caters to other businesses. And just let's take the B2C part away. If I talk about business to client, we call it B2C. If I talk about business to business, we call it B2B. So if I'm talking business to business, that means like you are building something which is meant for a different business. So when it is coming to the B2B aspect, the approach is entirely different. So you see, at the end of the day, if I talk about all these companies, for example, this logistics companies, like there is a company in Indonesia called Delivery. So they have expanded their reach from Indonesia to Singapore and Malaysia at this time being. And you also have basically companies from Singapore as well, which are doing phenomenal in the terms of real estate and construction. If I talk about the FMCG business, Malaysia tops it, Indonesia tops it, because there you'll be finding a lot of Berhad companies, which is private limited in Malay basically. So they have this setup where they are looking into FMCG, into apparel segment they're also good in tobacco as well. If I talk about the kind of minerals and the kind of resources they're having, they are, in tie-up with companies which are coming from countries like South Korea and Japan, where the innovation of the tech side is to that level. And you see, there's a huge collaboration. This is a huge market right now, which I believe that all these Indian startups can, evaluate before and jump into, because a lot of e-learning companies have right now changed their approach from the domestic side, and they're going entirely into US, they're going into Central America, they're going to Latin America, they're going to Europe, they're going to all the Slavic countries, into the Eastern Bloc, if I talk about Poland and countries like this. So it's a wonder plethora. I see, if I talk about this company called Udemy and Coursera, which is a god of all this e-learning companies at the end of the day. If I talk about, just let's go from e-learning. If I talk about PayPal, right? If I talk about Razorpay, for example, if I talk about Razor payment gateway solution, this is something which they have also targeted SMEs, small medium enterprises, which are small businesses. So if I talk about these Indian startups which are into things like, we have this company called Khatabook. We call Splitwise as well. So if I talk about these things also, this softwares as well, these products are also meant for the business class, right? The traders, the shopkeepers at the end of the day. This is not B2B, this is not B2C at the end of the day. There's a difference. So the SME segment is also one of the major, markets where companies are building their products on right now. The fintech segment has boomed to that level. You'll be finding fintech in education, fintech in healthcare, fintech in your Medicare as well, which I mentioned in healthcare. If you see, there are a lot of mental wellness startups also which are coming up. Focus on mental health. If I talk about getting depressed, getting the right amount of advice. You see, you cannot just if you go into mental health, things like this. If a product like this, which is a AI-based software, it is telling you at the end of the day, like if you're having thoughts like this, it will suggest you something to read. Just have a look and change your perspective. This is something which is phenomenal. Like if I talk about the technology which is able to do it, right? So this segment is also where I believe Indian companies are going also. But this is the next future. If I talk about the future of the Indian startup ecosystem, it is entirely into artificial intelligence and machine learning.
So if any startup comes up in 2023, so as per your opinion, it should go for more into AI and machine learning,
Yeah,
so that it
yeah,
is more customer friendly and solves a greater
yeah.
problem.
Mhm. See, there's a company called Athena Health, or
Okay.
see, if you
Yes.
work in health tech, let's talk about health tech also, since we came into the point of
Yeah.
this about mental illness and mental wellness.
Right.
See, if I talk about healthcare, it's not just about companies are just giving you a doctor's appointment. It's
Hmm.
more to that. See, like there's an Indian-based startup called Twin Health.
Hmm.
So, you see, any person is diabetic.
Hmm.
So, at the end of the day, you can either be on insulin or else you have to maintain a strict diet.
Hmm.
You have
And
to
exercise.
plan your food, the meal you're having every day, the kind of calories you're taking. So, you know what this company does? They basically created a AI-based software,
Hmm.
just like you see, even if you're using Spotify to play
Hmm.
songs, sometimes
Yes.
you find that automatically songs you like are playing all of a sudden. You did not
Correct.
even
Similar
ask.
songs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is AI. So if I talk about these things also, like in health tech also, this company called Twin Health, they basically created AI-based bot,
Hmm.
which replicates the like whole biometrics of a person. You have to input all the data of yours, like your
Hmm.
starting from heart rate, your heartbeat, which all of these things, your BMI, basal metabolic index, your height, your weight, everything. So after you input this, like it creates the whole ecosystem, and like it recreates the situation in your body right now, which is not
Hmm.
good at this time, and it tells you, it plans the diet for you.
Correct.
It'll tell you that they'll take this much chapati, take this much dal. So this is something, like, which is, if you are implementing this in the right proportions, in the right way, if you know the way to use it, this product can actually help you to manage your diabetes.
Correct. Correct. So with
So
the AI based, we are feeding data to the AI. AI is helping us in understanding how diabetes can be, put
yeah,
aside and healthy life can be
yeah, yeah.
lived.
See, like this is also used in healthcare also. If I talk about all this cancer research,
Hmm.
like it was extensively used during COVID when they were doing the COVID trials of the vaccines they were having.
Hmm.
So they taking the data sets, everything, like to automate the processes, to go into the part where they are using tenets of deep learning and natural language processing, which is entirely into this chatbots and
Okay.
things like that.
Uh-huh.
Like if I talk about a film that we all watched as children, Terminator.
Uh-huh.
So if you see into this movie right now, if you watch this movie right now, you'll get that they are talking about AI the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, this is something I believe that that would be my, like, if I articulate this in a single word in say AI is the future.
AI is the future. Right.
If you're
So,
going into tech.
right. Right.
Mhm.
So Elon Musk is also, going for AI, and he's having a
Yeah,
company also,
that's why
Neuralink.
yeah, that's why he's there. He has onboarded Twitter and has insulted everyone there itself. But on the
Yeah.
same time, the guy knows how to get money. This is very important.
Like money, he's money minded. So in everything that he
Yeah,
does, he's earning money only.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Right.
But here I would like to mention one thing. It's not also
Yeah.
about doing money. He is very calculated.
Hmm.
See, this guy takes interviews for associates and even junior level executives himself. I'm talking
Hmm.
Tesla organization. He'll ask you like what kind of work you can do. Like it's not just about like faking it. It's also
Hmm.
about standing to your ground, because you have every possibility of getting fired any other day
Hmm.
if you're working with this core team. So
Correct.
you have to understand every company has a different culture.
Right.
Hmm.
Totally. So let's say at current days and time, how things are going. Like people are busy in their career, people are getting stress. Some companies are putting more pressure because of the work. Maybe during COVID time also we saw people were working from home, and that took a toll on people's mental health. And a lot of people went into depression. We saw the suicide rate also increasing during those days because of depression and a lot of other factors. So how do you think is the startups that are coming up right now in India or should come up in India, so that they help more about solving this depression and helping people to ease their pressure from their mind? Because I know there are some apps like Calm. There's an app called Calm, and there are some other apps like Headspace and similar other apps who helps in doing meditation and some other lot of stuff. So similar
Yeah.
kind of app. How do you think? Yeah.
There is another app called Whole Mask.
Okay.
That's from Singapore. So it's a US-based company. The founder is an Indian, by the way, and he is like running his business in Asia Pacific right now. This is entirely into mental wellness. Due to my current understanding of media and my position in media, I was able to speak with some of their executives.
Oh,
So I got
okay.
to know
Great.
how this company is entirely into mental health. Entirely
Okay.
mental health.
Right. So let's say today's date, I want to start. Yeah.
So if I talk about like how, if I talk about depression and everything, see, like the last 2 years had been very bad, very bad. Like it was hell, living hell. Like if I'm talking about a third world country like ours. So if I talk about the kind of amenities, the medical attention that people did not get or got at this point of time, that resulted more of the deaths. You see, like if I talk about the most amount of casualties, this has happened due to the dearth of resources. Apart from that, it has also affected our mental health very badly. See, if we talk about 2019, everyone had things in their mind. They were very calm when they were taking the decisions. After the whole thing where you are, like in quarantine, you are in a lockdown where you are not able to move there. See, personally for me also, I was working into business development. If I'm talking about business development, marketing, in this sector, you have to be active 24/7. You cannot even take a break in Saturdays and Sundays. I was working in Saturdays and Sundays. I'd watch my friends, like having a bottle of beer, going for, like clubbing, like they're having the time of their life in Coke, and while I'm here in my office, doing my work.
Totally. You had the FOMO.
Yeah. So this is something, see, like if I talk about this, you have to be very much disciplined, very much into these things. You cannot be a guy who just slogs his ass at the end of the day. You have to go to that dedication level also when you're going to work, because you have to be very productive. So here, see, at the end of the day, if you're working that much and also not getting a salary and you're just working to get your targets completed, just get your things done. You see, it was very easier for people in IT, which I believe, like, you might disagree with this because you have a different experience of things. I have a different experience of things. So let's not get into that. But I would say that, like, yeah, if I'm talking about an organization, work pressure wise, people who were in business development, a lot of them I know have gone entirely nuts by now. They've gone bonkers. Because it's like some have developed alcoholism. People I never saw in my whole life, like getting drunk or something like this, or like doing substances. They have started doing like this, and it's not like something which I'm saying casually. It's like I also thought about this. Like, see, at the end of the day, you're like this whole era transported it from one realm to a different realm where, like at the end of the day, people are not able to control themselves. Their desires, their dreams, it's all about, like showing the best reel out there on Instagram. It's not about living the moment. And after 2020, after COVID, this is all about this only. I don't see people having fun just like we had before. So if I talk about a corporate space, definitely. See, at the end of the day, companies, you see, all want to save a lot of money when it is coming to the recession part, when it is coming to the part where there are a lot of startups in India which are firing a lot of people also. And this will happen. A lot of companies will also shut down because they will not be able to withstand that difference between the profit and the loss margins.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, like the revenue is not there. The product is there, the clients are there, but the service is not there to get the things done. The educators are not there. The company which gives the payment solution, it is not there. This is happening. So a lot of companies will also perish. But at the same time, if I talk about mental health, see, I would say that a lot of companies are also becoming very toxic. By 2020, every other company had people, like if I'm talking about the management aspect, the managers. See, if I'm talking about an IT manager or a team manager, see, there have been instances where if you see LinkedIn, just open LinkedIn, you'll see like a lot of posts coming up where some guy in TCS has done some very wrong thing, or some manager has forced someone to resign. Right. These things have
Correct.
happened. Yeah. So there are a lot of unethical practices which have also ensured due to this lockdown. Everyone was connected via Zoom. Okay. There was no difference between your workplace and your home. So it becomes suffocating sometimes. See,
Correct.
initially we all love the thing of work from home. I loved it. I hated the fact that I have to go to my office and do n number of meetings with people, like to convince people to sign up and onboard themselves. I can do the same thing in my home. Why should I go to my office all the days?
Okay.
It's just for the virtual meets I'm doing. I'm not even meeting them. Before I was meeting them, but after COVID, there was no requirement of it. So yeah, that's what like I believe that added to a lot of mental stress. And see, at this point of time, I really believe that you might be 35, you might be 40, you might be any age. Okay. This is something which will affect you and it is going to affect you. Because see, if you are getting entirely into social media, if you get into the dopamine aspect of social media, like it's just like doing cocaine
Correct.
or doing all this drugs and all that people are doing. It's very bad. It really destroys the
Yes.
person. So there are also applications which help people to get away from that. You know that.
Social media de-addiction.
No, not social media, substance abuse. You can
Right.
also do a lot of recreational things in applications and products by which you can, clean your mind.
Understood.
So, see, what I believe is that everyone needs to understand where their mental health is right now. So, I would suggest everyone to, at least see a psychiatrist or psychologist, or you can see an expert who can help you. Because if you're not letting these things out right now, it will affect you in the near future. Very much. It is coming to heart diseases or anxiety related problems. Depression is something where anxiety is a major part.
Correct. Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
coming to the same line, so let's say I have an idea now. I want to go for a startup. Okay, right now, let's say it can be in any domain. Like it can be in fintech, it can be in medical, it can be in SaaS-based applications, or it can be FMCGs. So for that part, other than having an idea and building a product, what else should I know about business?
Yeah. See, like if I'm talking about you as a developer who is launching his whole tech-based product, be it any domain.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to be a good product manager.
Okay.
You have to first of all build a product to that level. You have to do the testing. You have to run the whole thing properly. After you do the whole thing, you have to do the marketing segmentation. You have to do a whole research. Like for example, if you're planning to launch this app in a city called Jaipur, you have to understand the market sensibilities, the kind of people who are, and what kind of things they'll be liking, they'll be disliking. You have to do the complete market survey. So right now, people are doing it digitally. You can like get all these things by using Google Forms, other modes of communication as well. But it's coming to the part where you are building a particular product and you are like launching it. Even before the product launch, you have to understand the whole marketing part, the whole thing. So you have to first of all get the data of the whole thing, make a marketing strategy, and do retail marketing. So retail marketing is all about, like, for example, if you go to any shopping mall, you might be seeing a lot of guys standing there, right, with pamphlets.
Yes.
This is retail marketing.
I ignore them most of the time.
Yeah, but see, like when it is coming to their job also, like what this is word of mouth, basically.
Yes.
These people are telling people that there's an app like this, Mr. Manash has developed and is about this industry, this can help you this way. And this is the only thing that you'll be doing, first of all, free marketing. Just free marketing. You have to put a lot of money behind it as well. Then, if you have sorted the hiring part, getting the right people to build a product alongside you, in the tech, you have to talk about the other aspects of the company. You have to look into the people who are doing the sales. You have to look into the people who are handling the clients, the operation aspect. So in a growing startup, mostly we have to like look into everything yourself only. There's not a lot of people to help you out. So we'll be the guy who will be doing everything. So you have to understand a lot about customer satisfaction also.
Hmm.
So you have to do a lot of tests. And after you launch the product, you have to come up with a plan how to launch it, how
Hmm.
to get the most out of traction. Because at the end of the day, if you are upscaling your business, at the end of
Hmm.
the day, you have to do proper amount of lead generation. See,
Hmm.
if I talk about leads, what is a lead? A lead is an entity where you'll be finding the details of your customer, the biodata basically.
Hmm.
So if you're getting the biodata of people, you can connect with them via email. You can send them texts. You can give a call also. You can like do webinar sessions also. For example, we can
Hmm.
do sessions where you are giving product demonstrations for free also. People will be joining. Companies will be joining. So at the end of the day, we're creating that user base who are using a product firstly. They're saying, yeah, like this is the application he has done, and like it is for the trial run for 15 days. Sorry.
Okay.
If I talk about the trial aspect of things, basically, if I talk about like how things work out, see, mostly it's about like how you understand your client base
Hmm.
in the trial base. Then you have to understand mostly about like the part where you are going into the aspect of rapport building. You have to get those same clients back
Hmm.
who have showed the product before. You show them the upgraded version,
Hmm.
they will leave. And after that, few of them, if I have talked to communicated with like 100 people, you will be getting 10 people who have signed up with you.
Correct. Totally.
So that's how it works
Yes.
out. So it is entirely about marketing, about lead generation when you are doing
Hmm.
the business
Okay.
and hiring the right talent.
Okay. Okay.